Welcome back to Stab the Dragon, episode number 89 for Whiskey Review 53. This will be the last whiskey review of 2022, and today we'll be tasting Balcones Lineage Single Malt. Just the facts. This whiskey comes in at 94 proof in a 750 milliliter bottle that costs roughly $40 in Fort Worth. Pot distilled using some Scottish barley and some Texas barley. The main tasting notes, and this is sweet and malty. It's got the Texas funk or the char, so it comes across as a tad bit smoky. I've heard some people describe Texas whiskeys as smoky. It's got a hint of red wine, even though it's not finished in wine casks. This is a smooth whiskey and closes with a touch of spice and cinnamon. Total score 95. Letter grade A+. My recommendation. This is a daily drinker, and it could hold up to any cocktail. I prefer it neat. It's a must-try for those seeking to try out Texas whiskeys. This has the potential, I think, to win my Texas whiskey tournament in 2023. Now for the details. History. Balcones was founded in 2008 by Chip Tate in Waco, Texas, but he got some investors on board to help him expand, and they did a hostile takeover and forced Tate out in 2014. Nasty business divorce. Then, in October of 2022, the investors sold this Texas icon to Diageo. I disapprove, but I get it. Balcones was the second distillery to get a license in Texas since the Prohibition days, but they were the first to sell a Texas distilled product because what Tate did is he went with corn whiskey, which does not need much time in the barrel. And the corn whiskey, by the way, Baby Blue and True Blue, is amazing. I've already done reviews of those. This distillery is famous for that corn whiskey and single malts, but it's got a fine bourbon as well, and they do a lot of experimentation at Balcones. So the history here, despite the sale to Diageo, 5 points. Marketing, bottle, and packaging. This bottle is kind of the classic short, squatty whiskey bottle, which I really don't like. I don't like bottles like this, but they're functional. However, Balcones labels are generally very nice. And this Lineage bottle is particularly nice looking, I think, with this label. I have no idea what this symbol means, why that's there, why they chose that label. I'm not sure what that means. I don't recall seeing any advertisements for Balcones. Lots of reviews. It has been talked about highly for over a decade, and word of mouth about a superior product can overcome a lack of advertising. So let's read what's on the hoo-ha statement on the back. A path forward. Balcones Lineage Texas Single Malt is an expression that pays homage to both the traditional single malts that have been a significant inspiration to our craft, as well as our deep roots in the heart of the Lone Star State. Taking cues from two distinct approaches to maturation and malted barley, Lineage expresses our appreciation for the past while forging ahead to add something substantive to the ongoing conversation that is whiskey. Never chill filtered or colored, distilled and bottled by Balcones Distilling, aged at least 36 months in oak. Certified Texas whiskey. Pot distilled. And it says the original Texas whiskey there. If you can see that at the bottom. So for marketing, bottle, packaging, 4 out of 5 points. Composition. This is, as I said, 47% ABV or 94 proof in a 750 milliliter bottle. And the back hoo-ha statement there alluded to the fact that there is more than one kind of barley in here. It uses Scottish barley and Texas barley. And then for the barrels, it uses some refilled barrels and then some new oak barrels. So I guess it's twice barreled. Either that or, they put the Scottish barley in one kind of barrel and the Texas barley in the other kind of barrel. I'm not sure the actual process that they use. But I think really the key ingredient is the Texas climate. Aged in Texas for at least 3 years. That affects whiskey in a huge way. 15 points for composition. Appearance. Now actually, for being aged 3 years, this is a medium brown to amber with a red tinge. And a lot of Texas whiskeys that are aged less than this are much darker. So I'm not sure if maybe it's the barley. If you add corn to the mix or rye to the mix, maybe it gets very dark very fast. So appearance, man, it's about a 3 or a 4 on my scale, my 5-point scale. For Texas whiskey, that's pretty light. I'm going to go with a 3. That's a shade lighter than most of the other Balcones whiskeys I've done. So 3 out of 5 for appearance. For my personal aesthetics, I prefer darker whiskeys, but who cares? Nose. The nose on this whiskey is amazing. If you've watched any of my other reviews, when it comes to nosing whiskey, particularly bourbons, I can't hardly smell a thing. My nose is deficient. Let's just say it the way it is. But this one, sweet, malty. I get the Texas funk. I get more on this nose than on any bourbon. So it's there's clearly something about single malts, because with scotches, I can usually also smell something good. So, bourbon just doesn't work for me very well on my nose, but this smells amazing. It's very inviting, very delicious. It's sweet. It's got that Texas funk in there, malty. So yeah, 9 out of 10 on the nose. Now for the all-important tasting. Wow. This one's good. Very good. I say that about all Texas whiskeys though. But this is perhaps the best. I get the gentle sweetness, some caramel and honey, some maltiness up there. But there's a touch of red wine in there. And I'm not a wine guy. I'm not into wines, but I've had some finished whiskeys that had, finished in some wine barrels, and this has got a hint of that, even though this is not finished in wine. No, not at all. Clearly, there's the Texas funk, that famous barrel char that can come across as smoky. But I also get some spices, maybe baking spices. And then the char comes back. And there's a hint of cinnamon. This is a rich, complex, smooth, and delicious, almost a dessert-like whiskey. I could imagine pairing this with some pecan pie or cherry pie. Wow, yeah, that would go with cherry pie. I mean, this is an after dinner delight. It's a before dinner delight. Man, this is going to be tough to beat in the whiskey tournament, Texas whiskey tournament I'm planning. So I'm going to go with a 25, a perfect score for taste here. I mean, that's perfection. I think so. Mouthfeel and finish. It's got a creamy mouthfeel. There's nothing thin. It's only a 94 proof, but it's got a rich mouthfeel. On the finish, there's that cinnamon that kicks in kind of late. The barrel char hangs with you for a while. The spiciness and the tingle lingers. It's got a touch of heat, but nothing too strong. In fact, I would say for 94 proof, the heat is probably below what I would expect. Nothing too strong. And again, part of it's how you drink it, what you do in your mouth with this. I mean, I can make it strong by drinking it a certain way, but really it's a very smooth whiskey. The finish, I mean, the flavors do kind of linger. It's a long, delightful finish. So I'm going to say a 14 out of 15. To be perfect, I would want a little bit more of a burn, but 14 points for mouthfeel and finish. Price, value, and availability. 2022 at Total Wine, this is $39.99. Specs, $40.73. Goody goody, $40.99. So for the quality of this product, this is an amazing price. And it's available at all 3 of the big box stores that I shop at in Fort Worth. Actually 4, because there are 2 specs within easy driving distance of me. So yeah, its price is great for the quality. It's a high value, easily available. This is part of the core lineup of Balcones, and so I don't know the reach of Balcones, you know, if all 50 states can get this or not. I would think so. And now with Diageo, I mean, the whole world is going to get this. So taking on the Scots, head-to-head competition. And of all the scotches I've had, I like this single malt from Texas better. So price, value, and availability, 10 points, 10 out of 10. Neat or mixer? Well, I definitely prefer it neat. And at this price, for this quality, with the superior taste and complexity, this is a daily drinker for sure. I could drink this daily and be happy. I mean, I guess, you know, a lot of people like putting it on ice, I guess. I would hate to ruin it with ice, but I can see this in a killer cocktail. Oh, definitely. So 5 out of 5 for neat or mixer. Bonus points, clearly 5 points, because Texas. And this is just superior. So my total score, 95. Letter grade, A+. Recommendation. I give Balcones Lineage Single Malt my highest recommendation. This is unlike anything from Scotland that I've tasted. The Texas climate does a transformation on single malts that is amazing. If you're a Scotch drinker and you like Islays for their smokiness, taste this to get some real smoke. And this isn't even a smoked Texas whiskey. I've got some smoked Texas whiskeys. We've already done Brimstone from Balcones. You know, that's smoke, okay? But this that's unsmoked, because of the Texas char and the heat, this to me beats any of the Islays that I've had. Now, if you're new to Texas whiskeys, I think this one at 94 proof is gentle, but it's got a bold flavor. Now, if you're drinking your way through Texas distilleries, you simply cannot miss Balcones Lineage. All right? And if you want an introduction to Texas whiskeys, here you go, this one. All right, conclusion. This brings 2022 to a close. So this will be my final Stab the Dragon episode and my final whiskey review of 2022, because today's the 30th. Now, next year, I'm considering doing a Texas whiskey tournament. We've talked about that some over recent months, but time constraints, I'm really having to evaluate whether the time I put into this is worth it. So I don't know, but I've got a lot of Texas whiskeys that I haven't reviewed here. But I'm going to have to try to figure out what's my favorite Texas whiskey. The obvious answer is whichever one I'm drinking today. But I don't know. I mean, I may just have a tie between about 25 Texas whiskeys. So we'll see what we do next year. This is Stab the Dragon, out here.